Manchester United 1, Brentford 0, 3 points in the Premier League after that devastating defeat to the weekend at St James's Park. A much needed 3 points, actually. And it was a bit of a strange game, honestly, wasn't it? It was one of those games which, going into it, I can speak to myself, I had a bit of, I don't know if trepidation's the right word, but I just had this sort of uneasy feeling of, I'm not sure what we're going to get this evening. I think given the options, particularly the midfield options that we had available and we knew that we had available, given the performance that was shown at the weekend, but also factoring in, our home form's pretty good this season, but in more sort of recent weeks and months, we've had those little bit of results where it's, Leeds at home or Southampton at home, which you go, well, we didn't lose, but we dropped points. I really didn't know what to expect, and I didn't know what the final result was going to be, and I didn't really have that confidence that maybe I would have had, a month or so ago. And if you'd have said to me at the beginning of the evening, 1-0 against Brentford, I'd gone, yes, please, no problem, thank you very much. And that's kind of what we got. And I don't think either side played their best stuff. I think Brentford in particular, I was expecting a bit more of a performance from them, and they had their chances as the game went on, but I don't think they played to their best. But I don't really care. It doesn't particularly matter all that much. We got the 3 points, and that's the most important thing. I was very happy with the first 10 minutes that Manchester United showed. I thought we looked lively. I thought that Brentford almost, we kind of knew what they were going to do. They were going to put balls in the box, maybe play for set pieces, but they were behind the ball considerably, I thought, throughout the game, and they played a pretty low block, and it was up to United to break them down. But we did create chances. McTominay had a chance where Anthony cuts it back. It was a half volley, puts it over the bar. Anthony had a shot, curled past the post, and actually I do want to talk about Anthony because he's such a bit of an enigmatic player, isn't he, Anthony? Because I think he played well today. I think he's certainly confident. He needs to work on his end product, and he needs to work on his just cutting inside. He's so predictable. You know what he's going to do. It's just a case of, okay, if that's what you're going to do, you're going to have to make sure that you're unstoppable when you do it. But he does get in the right positions, and he does work hard. And I do think there is something there, certainly. I think it's going to take him a while to grow into that role. I don't think we're going to see the best of Anthony, not this season. I think we're going to get what we've got from him, which is glimpses and flashes. Hopefully next season he can elevate his level to get to more of that sort of consistency that we really need from him. But he looked lively, and it's Marcus Rashford. Who else? I mean, to be honest, looking at that starting 11 today, it was only really Marcus Rashford that was going to get the goal, considering, again, recent form and just considering how we were playing. Marcus Rashford gets the goal. Again, it starts from Anthony. I think Anthony put the ball into the box because, again, he did do well today. And as frustrating as he can be sometimes, he does create. And he did create today. I thought he was unfortunate against Newcastle at the weekend to go off, because I thought, actually, of all the people on the pitch, he was one of the rare people that actually looked like he was causing Newcastle some issues, and he was causing Brentford some issues today. It's his pass, Sabitz's header, and Rashford with an excellent finish, and I felt that was deserved. I felt that we were the ones really creating the chances at that point, and the only real question after that was, I was thinking, Brentford really aren't playing their best football today. They don't really look up to it. We've got to put them to the sword, and I don't think we did, and that's why as the game progressed, it got a little bit more tight and a little bit more tense. And again, maybe that's fatigue, maybe that's tiredness, maybe that's just a little bit of a lack of confidence from how the last few weeks have gone for Manchester United. But again, I don't particularly care. I think this evening could have been a real banana skin for Manchester United, given the opponent and given the game at the weekend. And we got through it, and we started to build momentum. And Ten Hag had spoken about this quite a lot in his interviews and the press conferences that he had done after the Newcastle game and yesterday as well, saying we will bounce back. And I think it's kind of novel that some people, not so much Man United fans, but particularly opposition fans, were sort of pointing and laughing at Erik Ten Hag, saying that United weren't going to bounce back. Oh, but you didn't bounce back after the Liverpool game. Well, maybe not in the league, but certainly we did in other competitions because we won those games and we got the job done. And we bounced back this evening. Now, is it the most definitive bounce back and that's a statement bounce back you're ever going to get? No, but it's been beating a good team at home, and some people have struggled against Brentford this season, particularly when they've gone away from home as well. Manchester City, they lost to Brentford in the league. Ivan Toney really hurt them prior to the World Cup. So it's not an easy game. And again, in midweek as well, coming off the back of the loss at the weekend, we got the job done. And that probably would be my sort of statement on the whole thing. It was a job done. It wasn't a perfect performance by any stretch of the imagination, but we got it done. Luke Shaw comes off with an injury, looks like it's a hamstring injury, which is, I guess, almost an ironic way to announce that he has signed a new contract at Manchester United. Here's hoping that it's not too bad, but I would think that means Malacia's starting against Everton at the weekend, because if you do your hamstring on Wednesday, I'd be very, very surprised if you're going to be playing Saturday lunchtime, so I don't think that's going to happen. I thought Malacia did well when he came on. David De Gea, of course, deserves a shout-out. I know David De Gea is just so polarising and divisive at the best of times, particularly after the weekend. It always rears its head after a defeat, and I thought he did well this evening. You got the good and the bad with him. You know, there was I thought his distribution was good. I thought his passing was decent. I thought his touch was okay. But then at the same time, he had a moment where he nearly kicks it into Ivan Toney, and who knows where the ball could have gone. And the people that don't like David De Gea will point to that. The people that do like David De Gea will point to the fact that he makes an excellent one-on-one save, and his passing throughout the night was okay. And once again, he saved us points. But you're never going to convince people that don't like him, and the people that really like him aren't going to back down. It's always going to be like this. So it's one of those things, but I thought he did well this evening. And also the save that he makes, you know, people will say that he's not brave. Well, he's not brave at all. He backs out of stuff. Well, he took a knock for it, and it was a big save that he made. And as I mentioned, once the game was going on, there were a couple of sort of hairy moments where they had a few opportunities. I thought the centre-back pairing of Rafael Varane and Lisandro Martinez were excellent. Not that that's much of a surprise, particularly in those more dying moments where it is 1-0 and you are struggling a bit when it comes to confidence. You're going to have some moments where it's not going to be pretty, but you've just got to throw yourself in front of the ball. And I thought Martinez did that excellently. I thought Varane did that well. I thought even Scott McTominay, he also did that well. He put it on the line. I thought, considering again, it was Marcel Sabitzer and McTominay, I was worried going into this one. It made me nervous seeing those two playing alongside each other. I would have started Fred, but I thought both of them did well this evening. I thought it was probably Sabitzer's best game in a United shirt. McTominay was much better than he was at the weekend. Not that that makes up for it all of that much, but United did what they had to do. And I mean, Lisandro Martinez, particularly in these kind of games where you just need someone that's got that just dog attitude. He was really putting himself on the line, putting his body on the line, getting in front of the ball, making those blocks, making those interceptions, and it could have been a completely different game without him and Varane. And not to bring Harry Maguire into everything, but I don't think that happens if Harry Maguire's on the pitch, to be honest with you. So again, all in all, job done. Very happy with it. Momentum builds. We look forward to the game against Everton at the weekend, which I think is going to be a tough game, because I think they'll do similar to what Brentford did this evening, but then some. We know what Sean Dyche is going to do. They're just going to be behind the ball. They're going to play for set pieces, and I think there is going to be quite a bit of scrutiny on David De Gea, because they're going to be putting long balls into the box and seeing what happens when it comes to David De Gea, if he can claim crosses or if he's going to struggle once again. So it's going to be fascinating to see how that plays out at the weekend. But a difficult game, and United to get through it. 1-0, 3 points, and we move on to the weekend. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to smash a like on the like button and subscribe, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.